So as Elaine Archeron's personal attorney, I do feel the need to respond to this because I do feel like it is not necessarily fair that Elaine is getting blamed for the way that other characters are treating her. Like, yeah, she's got a soft girl vibe. She has a soft girl vibe next to her sisters who are both like badass warriors and shit, but that doesn't mean that she's not badass as well. If anything, I would argue it is more a flaw upon Rhysand and Nesta, actually, because I do feel like Nesta does contribute to that. Like, she does baby her quite a bit. But it's that's also part of Nesta's character development, and I do think that that interaction in Akasif, where Nesta's like, oh, fuck you, and Elaine laughs, and she's like, oh, you're telling me to go fuck myself. Like, clearly, you're getting better. I'm happy for you. Rhysand doesn't have that moment. If anything, Rhysand kind of doubles down on it with that whole thing in A Court of Frost and Starlight where it's like Nesta's Illyrian, Elaine is Elaine. I feel like it doesn't say anything about Elaine or Nesta for that matter. It says more about Rhysand and the traits that he personally finds valuable. I think Rhysand infantilizing her and demonizing Nesta, it has less to do with Elaine and Nesta and more to do with Rhysand's propensity for control and his ability, or at least in his mind, the way that he thinks that they are controllable versus not controllable. He has always clocked Nesta as uncontrollable, and even after Nesta's quote healing arc or breaking arc, depending on who you ask, Rhysand still talks about and treats Nesta like she is still like that completely uncontrollable, completely out there, doing all sorts of nonsense, girly, whereas in House of Flame and Shadow, Nesta is framed as correct. Just Rhysand can't see it because Rhysand has this opinion of her as irrational and uncontrollable. Elaine does not have that issue. Elaine is nicer. She's sweeter. She's aesthetically sweeter too. I think that Elaine's aesthetics and Nesta's aesthetics are actually playing a part here. I say this as a girl who dresses very whimsically, lots of pink, lots of pastels and all that shit. People do treat me a little bit differently because I don't necessarily I don't present myself like a boss bitch. And Nesta presents herself like a boss bitch and she gets treated like a bitch because of it. And I have never really been treated like a bitch. And I kind of get that with Elaine, where Elaine's never been treated like a bitch, even if she does have some canonically bitchy moments. Rhysand can't see them because of Elaine's packaging, and packaging matters. I'm bringing it back to pop girlies again. Zara Larsson is a great musician. I'm getting into her back catalog now. I fucking love Symphony, but she didn't really pop up into like the American mainstream, certainly, because I know like she's super popular in Sweden, where she's from, but she didn't necessarily pop into the mainstream as a pop star in her own right with her own zeitgeist until she revamped her image a little bit and she went with like that super bright tropical shit from Midnight Sun. It wasn't necessarily Zara's music that changed because Midnight Sun came out last year. We're talking about it now because Zara, I think, made it a point to change her image a little bit and like have very like streamlined aesthetics and a very streamlined look. So like you see those bright ass eyeshadow colors and like the cutouts and the bright ass colors on her clothes, and you know that's Zara Larsson. That's Midnight Sun. Sabrina Carpenter did the same thing. Like I've been like super obsessed with like pop girl discourse and like the system of hierarchy of pop girls. Like I feel like there is a really interesting like fantasy premise here and I can't stop thinking about it, which is why I've been talking about pop girls lately, so don't mind me on that. Sabrina's big break into the zeitgeist in general is a little bit different than Zara's because she did change her music, because if you listen to something like Thumbs versus something like Espresso, the vibe is different. When you think about Zara, I feel like Midnight Sun, sonically I feel like it's kind of like a symphony vibe. So like I don't think her music changed so much, just her branding. And her branding is super different than someone like Charlie XCX is, who is like black, cool, very like I'm gonna kick you in the fucking face at the airport, which she did in a video, the fucking Von Dutch. All three of these girls make very different music, but they all kind of escaped the Kaya Asylum, the Kia Asylum. I'm pretty sure it's the Kaya Asylum. They did it with their branding, and it shows that branding and aesthetics do matter when it comes to your presentation as a woman. It sucks, but I do think that we can kind of take the lesson that we learned here about branding and pop girls and how women are presented to the world, and we can apply it to fiction. Feyre and Nesta are both like badass girlies, but they are different about it. Like Nesta has kind of like the Charlie XCX thing. Like she's like a bitch. She'll kick you in the fucking face at the airport and she'll leave you fucking bleeding in the baggage claim. It has nothing to do with Nesta's inner life or Charlie's inner life for that matter, because if nothing else, I feel like Charlie in particular, like she has a Substack. I think she put out an article recently about like the trappings of pop girls and how they want women to stay in these bubbles. And I think Rhysand is kind of thinking in a similar way where Nesta and Elain are in these bubbles. He thinks of Nesta as Illyrian even if she's just as vulnerable as Elain. He thinks of Elain as just being Elain, just being a sweetheart, whereas she can be just as bitchy. So I feel like, I know that like your beef with Elain has to do with other characters in fanalizing her and demonizing Nesta. I think that the vitriol towards Elain is a lot of it is because of that, like where she does get underestimated by other characters. But I think that we need to lay that at the feet of the other characters. So ironically, I think in a video about Elain, I'm going to return to an old reliable. Rhysand fucking sucks. Rhysand sucks. Join me in my hatred of him.